I, 35 female, separated from my husband, 37, over 10 years ago. Unfortunately, he's left me with a lot of debt to pay and in a position where I was nearly homeless. I only finished paying off the debt 2 years ago, but there's still a lot of work to do to improve my credit history. Because of all the stress he caused me, we never got divorced or formally separated. As a matter of fact, we never spoke after I was kicked out of the flat, so his girlfriend Anna could move in. I was planning to file for divorce once I had enough spare income, but some events took place before I was able to do so. Now to where I can be an idiot. 2 months ago, my husband passed away in a freak accident. He left no will behind and has a house, which is paid off with his girlfriend. He ended up getting a big promotion at work. I've spoken to the lawyer, and because we never divorced or filed for separation, I am entitled to half of the house as his next of kin. Last week, I informed Anna through a letter that I wanted the house to be sold. She can buy my half, or I'll have to force a sale. It's up to her. I don't want to live in the house, but the money from the sale could really help to sort out the damage done by the loans I had to pay for the ex, as well as a deposit for my own place, so I don't have to live in an absolute nightmare due to poor credit and not a very high-paying job. It will also help me work on my qualifications so I can get a better job and retire. However, Anna and my ex's family have called me a massive idiot, saying I have no right to the house. Legally, I do, and that I'm being cruel and vindictive. I have reminded them that it's not my fault their son hasn't divorced me or had a will, and said I don't see how it's unfair, as I had to pay for his debts while he lived a comfy life. So, am I the idiot? Edit. Neither I nor my late husband and his girlfriend have any children. My ex has maxed out my credit cards and took loans in my name, as well as cleared our savings account to fund his relationship with Anna and some of his gambling habits at the time. Due to being busy with work, I didn't discover the loans and cards being maxed out until it was too late, and I had a few notices of non-payment, and him kicking me out and basically making it seem to everyone that I had the problem, and he loaned me money, which I paid him back by taking loans and cards as well, as if I wanted him back, so made him gifts. The total amount of debt is a bit over $50K, which also resulted in me losing my job while he got to keep his well-paying job. Regarding the house, both Anna and my ex are on the deeds and had joint mortgages, from what I was told. So legally, she is entitled to the other half of the house. This man had 10 years to make a will and force a divorce. He chose not to because it benefited him in some way. Well, now it benefits you, not the idiot. I hope the sale helps you. You owe nothing to his girlfriend. Sell the house and be done with it. Also, stop paying his debts if they're not also your debts. Some companies can assume you're admitting to the debts as your own by paying them. He had 10 years to make a will and force a divorce. He chose not to. In many places, if they divorced, he would have to take on half that debt. With no divorce, she had to pay it off to access credit and rebuild her life. Once she finished paying it off, she could start saving up. If he put his money into the apartment and into his girlfriend's accounts, waited a few years, and then got divorced, he could have pressed for half of her savings, then negotiated to leave them alone in exchange for her relinquishing her 25% claim in the apartment. Someone who lies that well, defrauds and frames other people like this, can do something like that. His sudden unexpected death just wasn't part of the plan. Right? By being a selfish idiot, in the end he screwed over his nasty girlfriend, who no doubt knew he was running up OP's cards too. Perfection. I love how this worked out for the OP. It saves her from future financial misery by this guy, and she gets to recoup some of her losses. Happy ending. It's called karma. OP, your ex has managed to repay you, accidentally. I'm gonna guess neither Anna nor ex's family were concerned about the right thing to do when you were the one being negatively impacted. It sucks for Anna, but bad decisions often have bad consequences. Let Anna's family pick up her tab. She had no conscience or remorse, knowing the situation your ex left you in, and now, nor should you, force the sale and take what you're due, OP. My ex and his wife adopted a little girl, pre-tween, earlier this year. Her birthday's on the 22nd. This girl has become very attached to my daughter. The feeling is not exactly mutual, although my daughter is nice to her. My ex expected me to let our daughter be with him and their family on her birthday. My daughter plans to go on a trip up to the mountains with her friend's family for a few days. They leave this afternoon and will be getting back later in the day on the 23rd. With the holidays and other events, my daughter was not planning on staying at her dad's until the 27th. My ex is insisting that that's too long to wait and that his other daughter will be crushed that my daughter's not there on her birthday. According to him, she has a lot of issues with feeling forgotten and hasn't had the best experiences with birthdays in the past. So my ex and his wife wanted to make this one perfect. So they think my daughter needs to be there for it to be perfect, since she's her sister's favorite person. My daughter doesn't want to change her plans, though. While I feel bad for the little girl, my ex and his wife should have brought up her birthday sooner. He argues that they did, as it was mentioned some time ago, at my daughter's birthday, which was in May, that they would have a big birthday party for her too. Neither my daughter nor I remember this. Furthermore, I never knew when her birthday was. My daughter said she only remembered her birthday was in December and never knew the exact date. When her dad talked to her about the party this morning, I think the party plans and the exact date of her birthday should have been brought up more and been more concrete than that for us to plan around it. Not the idiot. Your daughter's not their adopted child's emotional support animal. Making your daughter change her plans for a sibling she barely knows is exactly the perfect way to make her resent and even dislike her new sister. Your ex isn't being very bright about this. He's saying, I mentioned it in passing once 7 months ago. How dare you not remember? Even if he really did, he's being unrealistic not to think it should be brought up several times over the year if it's that important. The kid has only been around for under a year, and your daughter doesn't have to bend to stepmom and dad's plans. All of this said, it would be nice to ask your daughter to phone her sister on the birthday, and if daughter has her own phone, to FaceTime or otherwise video chat her. If your daughter agrees to this, you should ask her if she would like you to call her to remind her to do it, and what would be a good time for her to call if so. This is a great opportunity for you to teach her that, even when plans can't be canceled, it's a good thing to care about others. My 38 male work held our annual holiday party last Friday. It was held at one of those axe-throwing places, which I had never done before, so I figured it would be pretty fun. My wife, 36, and I have 3 kids, a tween, a pre-tween, and a kindergartner, so we rarely get out of the house for dates. The holiday party was planned almost 2 months ago, and my wife agreed to attend with me. I suggested we make it more of a date by either going out for drinks after the party or catching a late-night movie. She thought this was a good idea too. I also arranged for a babysitter to watch the kids that night. On the day of the party, my wife got home from work and told me she had a horrible day and was in a bad space mentally, so she didn't want to come to the party. I told her I was disappointed but understood if she wanted to stay home. As I was getting myself ready to head to the party, I called the babysitter and canceled. I apologized to her and offered to Venmo her an hour's worth of our agreed $30 rate to compensate for the cancellation, and she agreed that was reasonable. As I was getting ready to leave, my wife asked when the babysitter was going to come. I kind of looked at her funny and told her that I just canceled the babysitter because she was no longer coming with me. She got mad at me and told me that I knew she had a bad day, was in a bad mental state, and needed some time to herself. I told her that I had assumed none of that meant she was incapable of watching our kids, and that I didn't think having the babysitter come when my wife was home made any sense at all. She told me to call her back and see if she could still come to watch the kids, and I told her that if she wanted to do that, she could do it, but I'm not going to. She tried to argue with me about it, but I told her that I had to leave for the party. While I was at the party, she sent me multiple texts about how the kids were driving her nuts, that the babysitter didn't answer her calls, and that she needed me to come home. She kept blowing up my phone, and I eventually left the party over an hour early to go home. When I got there, she kept arguing with me about how I was an idiot for canceling the babysitter when I knew she had a rough day. I told her I wasn't going to pay a babysitter just so that my wife could rest after a bad day. I told her she could have just thrown a movie on for the kids and relaxed. I told her she was the one who ruined our potential night out, and that having a bad day at work is not a good enough reason to pay a babysitter $200. She still thinks I was an idiot for canceling the babysitter without talking to her first, and she's still mad at me for it. But I don't think that was an unreasonable assumption to make, considering that there have been plenty of times when I've had a bad day, and I'm still 100% capable of watching the kids by myself while my wife leaves the house. You are the idiot. First off, if you're going to cancel on your sitter within 12 hours, you should be paying her for the time she set aside for you. She can't find another gig at that time and probably depends on the money. Paying her for 1 hour is just insulting. Second, it's weird that you just immediately canceled the sitter. You didn't even give your wife time to settle in and decide if she wanted to go for a walk or treat herself to some takeout by herself. Or maybe she got sick. Have you even asked? People always use sitters when they aren't actually going to an event. You could have checked in with her and given her the option. I agree. Part of being in a true partnership is not going tit for tat, allowing your partner to be off the hook once in a while, working through minor disappointments, showing up for your person, and communicating. It seems you missed the boat on all those things. It sounds like you canceled the babysitter to punish your wife for not going with you. For all the parents and/or folks who aren't independently wealthy, responding OP's the idiot, please ask yourself this. When was the last time, after having a rough day at work, you decided that was a good reason to spend $200 on a babysitter so that you could stay home with your kids and the sitter? What? Never? Then shut up. Of course, OP, the person who made all the arrangements for their long-planned and much-anticipated date, canceled the sitter because he hired her because no parent was going to be home with the kids. Why on earth would he throw away $200? That cash can be put towards a sitter when they're both able to go out. Not the idiot. Am I the only one who wonders if the wife would go out and do something else, and that's why she was angry about not having a babysitter? OP, it sounds like you ruined her night out alone, and she got upset by that. I'm not so subtly implying that she had planned to go out and celebrate with someone else. My girlfriend, 29, Andrea, and I, 29 male, had been together for a few months now. Everything had gone smoothly until yesterday when she pulled off a ridiculous stunt. She called me late at night to say that she was seriously injured and having panic attacks and that no one else was with her as her parents were out, which was true, they were out. She said that she's also got some chest pain and she thinks that she's dying and that she's in a really bad state and can hardly breathe. She was heaving while she spoke. She begged me to help her. She said she'd already called 911, but also wanted to let me know, and I was shocked. I took my car to rush towards her house, and only after reaching it did I find out she was joking. She met me joyfully and said she only wanted to see how committed I am during an emergency, as that's an essential part of a relationship or something. I lost my temper and asked her what the heck her problem was. She said that she was testing me, and I got angry. I called her a witch and told her that I didn't deserve to be treated like trash and used like that. She was crying, saying that she only wanted to check whether I was a good fit and that I had overreacted. I left the house immediately and haven't talked to her since. She's been texting me, but I just ignored her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Run. She intentionally put you in a state of panic, causing you to drive in that state of panic, which is a recipe for disaster, an accident waiting to happen. You need to focus on the fact that she never gave your feelings any thought at all. She didn't dismiss your feelings. To dismiss your feelings, she would have had to consider them. She didn't even think about you at all. Your panic was what she was looking for. It made her happy. It made her laugh. That's how sociopaths feel. If you were killed in an accident on your way to her, it would have been a home run for her. For sure, there's really something not right here. If she thinks that what she did to you is okay, then she's got major issues. You jumped in your car and rushed over to her house. What if you'd been in an accident trying to get to her? What score did you get on her test then? This is so stupid. I really hope you consider whether or not you want to continue your relationship with her. She was testing your commitment? All she did was prove to you that she doesn't deserve your trust or respect you as a person. Just tell her she made a great commitment test and thank her. Her test made you realize that she's not someone you could commit to and saved you a lot of time and trouble in the long run. Also, what does it prove? I don't know about you, but I think only a monster would not help someone in that state, even if the person in distress dialed the wrong number. Time to test her. Tell her you won't talk with her for the next 65 years. You just want to test her commitment to the relationship. My boyfriend, 25, recently moved in with me, 21 female. The biggest problem we've had so far is arguments about cooking. He lived off ramen and sandwiches before moving in, so he says that I'm the one who cares about food. Note that he happily eats what I cook, suggests recipes to try, and hasn't had any ramen since moving in. Even though I bought it for him, he chooses the food that I make. So, since I'm cooking for myself, anyways, I might as well cook for him too. I told him that isn't fair. Either he needs to pick up some more chores to compensate for never cooking, or he needs to cook 3 days a week. He said he didn't care about food, so he shouldn't have to cook. I'm just doing it for myself. So I only cooked for myself. I got him a pack of ramen, even his preferred brand, and only made portions for one. He was angry when I made myself risotto and he got a bowl of ramen, and I reminded him that he doesn't care about food. Am I the idiot here? I don't mean to be difficult, but expecting me to cook all the time is not fair. After several conversations about this led nowhere, I decided to call his bluff. We pay bills 50-50 if that matters. It's been about a week, and he's angry and told me it's no more effort for me to cook for two more than one, but it's about the principle. I have college full-time and work part-time. He works full-time. Right now, we each do our own laundry and take turns doing dishes. I deep clean the kitchen and bathroom every 2 weeks, and he vacuums once a week and mops every 2 weeks. I cook and do groceries and change the sheets and take out the trash and dust. Not the idiot. Perhaps instead of taking turns doing the dishes, you could do the cooking and he can do all the dishes. They're both daily chores and are kind of related, so fairness is more or less baked in. His argument that you're cooking for yourself anyway isn't a good one, really. If it stands, then his once-a-week vacuuming is for himself and shouldn't count. He's trying to pretend he doesn't care, but as soon as it inconveniences him, he suddenly cares. He does want you to cook for him, and he values your cooking. So what does he get out of pretending he doesn't care? It's just a way to devalue your labor, so he doesn't feel obligated to contribute. Next, he won't care about laundry, and then he won't care if the house is clean, etc. Girl, you are another example of why men in relationships live longer and better lives, and women's lives get worse. And the extra stress will take some years from your life too. Move him out until he's a man you would like to live with, or get someone else. Right now, a roommate would be a better partner to live with.